Hi, everyone. Welcome to our talk for our Tuesday afternoon, and welcome to editing month. I just realized that you can't see my screen, so hold on, let me fix that. Hopefully, that has been fixed. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to another author pep talk. My name is Becca. I am the coach of Team Planter, and I am so excited that you're here because we are going to talk about what it means to start editing month. There is a stage of writing here that doesn't get nearly enough love. We talk about the grind of drafting and the grind of revising, but today we're focusing on that magic space in between. So today I want to talk about, I created this little title of Give It a Rest, why ignoring your book makes editing easier. Really. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially if you're feeling the pressure to rush straight into edits, but stepping back is actually probably one of the single most powerful tools you have to make your editing process faster, smoother, and way more effective. Now, I want you to drop a line in the comments right now if this sounds like you. When you type the end, you take a deep breath and instead of feeling relaxed, you immediately experience this like massive surge of panic. You feel this perhaps overwhelming urgency to fix every flaw, maybe go hunting for plot holes and rewrite every single sentence before it is even cold. Like you are ready to take a red pen and absolutely decimate work. Is that you? I know some of you we but this is definitely something that I think a lot of us can relate to. Now, what I want to tell you feels a little uncomfy, but you can't actually read what you just wrote, and I am very serious in saying this. When you look at a fresh draft, your brain isn't reading the literal words on the page. You have something called author blindness, where your brain knows what's supposed to be fully there. It's going to fill in what you intended to put there. Are too close to see the missing steps or the phrasing or any logical gaps. You can't just immediately see it. Which is why a lot of people, including us here on your Novel 90 coaching team, advocate strategic brain breaks as a part of the editing process. I consider letting my manuscript rest a non-negotiable part of my editing process because it gives us objective distance. So taking time away is going to give us this critical perspective. It's the only thing that allows us to stop reading like this exhausted writer who's just managed to get their draft out and start reading it from kind of with the object of putting our intended audience first. Now, if you this is hard to do. If you're a recovering workaholic like me, rest probably does not naturally fit into your process. We live in a world that glorifies the hustle culture, right? It's constant output. It's you must always be doing something. So stepping away from something and intentionally letting it rest feels wrong, at least in the creative arts like this. Now, if anyone likes to cook, think about the different meals that you can make where you actually have to let it rest in order to develop the flavor. You're going to want to think about your book this way. We're letting it rest, settle, right? We're letting it kind of figure out where it's going to be. We're letting our brains settle. I know that it can feel guilty if we aren't constantly doing something. I've definitely dealt with that in the past personally. So whether you're editing or plotting or marketing or creating graphics or doing something, oftentimes if we stop doing it, it feels weird and uncomfortable. And we have to change, I think, how we view rest. Remind yourself that just because you stop actively working on your book doesn't mean your brain stops working on it. Your subconscious mind is an absolute powerhouse. And when you step away, your brain kind of figures out what needs to be completed. Maybe it's the character issues, maybe it's the plot tangles, whatever it is, it's going to be thinking about that. But you need to have that distance. And so, to get around that guilt and to rewrite our approach, we actually have to go back to basics. We're going to break this down into a couple steps for you. You can use this when you are ready to finish your Novel 90 project. And don't worry, if you're still writing, it's okay. But if you're ready to start editing, this is what I am going to encourage you to do. You ready for this? All right. Step one, close the document and walk away. If it's in a notebook, go shove that notebook in a drawer. If it's in a file, go ahead and close the file. Okay. Um, Set a calendar reminder on your phone for when you're allowed to open it again. And until that date arrives, leave it alone. Step number two is going to be to fill your creative well. So writing a book is pouring a massive amount of your personal and creative energy into a specific thing. And honestly, that's not something that you can do forever without a refill. You cannot edit effectively if you're creatively burnt out. We need to be actively refilling that creative well in ways that make sense for us. For me, that's reading. I love to read good books. I know Kat likes to talk about how much she enjoys watching movies. Maybe you're a person who needs to listen to some music and that helps, or play a video game. Maybe you need to go take a long walk, um, just live life, sing songs. I don't know what it is, but whatever, paint, fill your creative well in some way that has nothing to do with this book. And then step three is that when we're ready to return, after our little break has ended, we need to look at our book not as the author who knows what's supposed to happen, but with some reader-focused eyes. When we open that draft, we want to think about how our reader is going to experience it. And having that kind of perspective is basically an author superpower because remember, we wrote the story, we came up with everything, but we want to see how our reader is going to experience it. If you feel like taking a break is slowing you down, remember that the best editors are not the ones who work the fastest. Speed does not equal quality in revising most of the time. The best editors are the ones who bring patience, clarity, and deep understanding to the page. Rest gives you perspective. Distance gives you clarity. Clarity gives you the ultimate confidence in your revision choices. And at the end of the day, all of this directly improves your book. I want you to trust your work enough to leave it alone for a little while. And don't worry, it's not forever. You do actually have to come back and do the editing. But give yourself permission to take a real break, whether that's a day, a weekend, a week, or heck, for some people, it's a month. Step away and let your brain rest and your manuscript settle in. Use that break time to celebrate your accomplishment. You finished a draft. Honor your creativity and what you've built, and understand that shifting from drafting to editing is not just about opening a new tab or getting a red pen. That is an important transition that requires a totally different mindset. And additionally, it is a totally different skill set as well. Now, this is my reminder to you to take a step back and really look at what you've done. You built an entire world from the ground up, and that's pretty dang cool. You brought characters, places, conflicts, emotions, all of that you created out of thin air. Now, Give your story time to breathe and settle in, and protect your creativity, rest your mind, and always remember your story is worth waiting for. Go take that break before diving into your round of edits. You've earned it. Thanks, everyone.